Hello and welcome to my channel. Um, so today I'm just going to do a quick breakdown of the new Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them Crimes of Grindelwald trailer. I'm saying Grindelwald like that because that's how it's actually meant to be pronounced. Um, Anyways, yeah, it came out at Comic-Con this weekend gone, and there's so many hints in the trailer that I just wanted to do a complete breakdown of it and share it with everyone. So here it goes. Um, so we open the trailer looking at this classic look of Hogwarts, which just takes us back to the Harry Potter era. Obviously, we didn't see Hogwarts in the first Fantastic Beasts film, I don't think. So this was a nice connection to those films. Um, and then it goes to Dumbledore teaching Ridiculous just how Lupin, like the exact same room, the exact same setting and style as we see Lupin does in Prisoner of Azkaban. However, I thought this was a bit weird because anyone who's a fan of Harry Potter knows that Dumbledore actually teaches Transfiguration before he becomes headmaster at Hogwarts. So this was kind of like, are they just using it towards the plot? Obviously, it's got to be towards the plot, or else why would they be using it as a thing unless like the only reason is to show that Newt is scared of working in an office. But it'll be interesting to see how that ties into the whole movie, whether he was just covering for another teacher or something maybe. So in the scene with the boggart, we can see that the Hogwarts robes are actually different to the ones in the Harry Potter movies. I think this is just to differentiate between the two eras, and you can actually see Lessa Lestrange in the background, and she's in Slytherin, which probably matches her family tree since the Lestranges are classically Slytherins. Um, Also, I just want to mention that the young actor that's playing the young Newt in this scene copies Eddie Redmayne's awkward sort of head tilt that he does in all of his movies quite well. Like you sort of do get the feel that it is Eddie and it is the same character. And I thought the actor does portray Newt pretty well here, and also just like nod to Jude Law's accent as Dumbledore. He does put on a slight tinge of an Irish accent, which is what Michael Gambon did when he got the role of Dumbledore after Richard Harris passed away. Um, so let's focus on why Newt might be scared of working in an office. It is quite a boring job, I guess. I suppose he just doesn't want to end up having a boring life, maybe. I think it's more for comedic effect, but we'll see. We'll see where that goes. And then we get some voiceover from Johnny Depp saying, "Magic blooms only in rare souls, but still we must skulk in the shadows. Old ways serve us no longer." That's sort of referring back to what we learned about him and Dumbledore in the Deathly Hallows book. They're considering outing the wizarding world to the Muggles for the greater good. That's what they say it's for. Obviously, Grindelwald has other alternative motives for this. Really, he just wants magic is might kind of thing, a bit like Voldemort. What I will say though is Depp doesn't put on any accent, even though, as Harry Potter fans will know, Grindelwald is actually from Europe. Like from his name, and the context that J.K. Rowling has given in the past, we can assume he's from somewhere like Germany. However, also in the books, we know that I think it's his great aunt is Bathilda Bagshot, who is English. So a fundamental characteristic of Grindelwald in the books is that he is from Europe, yet Depp sticks with an American accent, which I know is like nice to have an American tie to the film still, but it's not true to the Harry Potter Wizarding World, which I think is a bit annoying, really. But there you go. And then there's like a shot of him sort of suspended by a load of presumably auras, showing that he is imprisoned at some point in the film. Maybe it's just after the events of the last film, where he gets caught by Newt and all the American auras. Then we see here that Newt's got a Paris postcard that's been torn up and put back together. So obviously some of this is going to be set in Paris. A lot of it's in Europe, I think. And then we get some more voiceover. I think it's from Jude Law again, saying Grindelwald had a vision that he was to rise to dominate over the Wizarding World. Whether this is an actual vision that Grindelwald had or not, we don't know, but just thought that was a bit interesting. Also, we did see Credence a bit earlier looking at the sign for this magical circus, which is going to feature in the film, and then he appears again and he's talking to, or looks like he's talking to a member of the circus, and he's made friends there. Obviously, it means he survived the end of the last movie, and he's looking. I think he might be looking for a way to probably control his powers, because later on in the trailer we see that he is actually able to. I think he's blowing up a wall or something, then it all comes back together, which is pretty interesting. So obviously he's going to have like a main feature to the plot line in this movie. But overall, I think the magical circus doesn't look like it's a big main feature to the movie, but you never know, they might just not be showing us those bits at the moment. And then I thought this was a really nice bit, a really interesting bit. The next clip is Dumbledore looking into the mirror of Erised, and Grindelwald is looking back at him, which I feel like is the first time that the movies have acknowledged that Dumbledore and Grindelwald were, in love at some point when they were younger, which they were in the books. It's very clearly laid out in the books, and J.K. Rowling has talked about it quite a bit as well. But this is the first time that the movies has really acknowledged that connection. And whilst we see that clip, he's saying to Newt that that Dumbledore can't be the one to move against Grindelwald, but it has to be Newt, which I think is a big resemblance to how Dumbledore was always saying to Harry that it has to be him, and the reason why it had to be Harry to try and kill Voldemort was so that Harry could sacrifice himself, so that Voldemort will kill his own Horcrux that was inside of Harry, if that makes sense. Like, there was a technical reason why Harry had to be the one to try and kill Voldemort, but I don't see the connection as to why it has to be Newt to move against Grindelwald. So that could be an interesting thing to learn in this movie. And then, of course, we see Lisa Lestrange. Again, I think she's going to be one of the leading people in the movement um, to expose the Wizarding World to the Muggles. Like she's going to be a follower of Grindelwald, and obviously her and Newt have a connection from school. So yeah. Then we see the return of the Niffler. Looks like it's going to be used as a distraction for something. And then there's a scene with a lot of water, and I think it's Newt riding something underwater. I feel like this may be in Newt's suitcase, like he's found a new creature, and he's going for a ride on it in his suitcase. And then it gets more and more fast paced, and we see little clips of them trying to escape some sort of records place. Maybe they're trying to get some information about something, and then Jacob's in trouble, and then Tina comes in and saves him. Then Queenie looks like she might be having trouble with her legitimacy, and she's like holding her head as though like she's trying to concentrate with it, when usually in the last film we see her quite easily able to see into other people's minds. Then there's a big blue flame with the kind of face in it, which seems to be a major threat, and I think it might be like in a sort of end fight scene with Grindelwald. And then this one was interesting as well. We see Newt confront this massive creature. It's like a grey purplish fur and big fang teeth, and it looks quite dangerous. It has chains on it, so it's escaped from somewhere. And I've been looking through my Fantastic Beasts. I've been looking through my Fantastic Beasts book, and from the descriptions I can find, I think it might be a chimera, something like that. Just from the description, it seems to be the most likely to match it, and it says that it's an extremely dangerous beast that has only ever been slain once. So it looks like it could be as dangerous as this. It looks like an interesting creature, so we'll find out. Then Lita says to Newt, "You're too good, Newt. You've never met a monster you can love." So I reckon this could either refer to Lita herself. She might think that she's a monster, or there's a potential threat of a monster, which Newt is showing some sort of sympathy with or something, and Lita's saying, "Look, like some beasts are dangerous, mate. You need to calm down and get with it." And yeah, then we see Credence sort of faced against this official looking person. And like I said before, he like blows up this sort of apartment place and manages to put it back together or something. So yeah, it does look like he's found a way to control his power somehow. Which is interesting because he might have found a way to harness his power so he becomes like a proper wizard, maybe. So I think he's going to have a really interesting story arc in this film. And then there's a quick scene of Grindelwald escaping in a carriage in Thestrals whilst like flying spells behind him or something. So I think he might be being chased by something here. And then Grindelwald says, "Scamander, do you think Dumbledore will mourn for you?" Which is implying that like he's trying to make Newt think that Dumbledore's just sent him here as some sort of decoy, or he knows that Newt's gonna die in this battle against Grindelwald, and he's saying that, or Dumbledore won't actually care about you. He just sent you here because he didn't want to come himself, basically. Just trying to like scare Newt a little bit, I think, and saying that he's some sort of sacrifice. And then it's that blue flame again from earlier, which sort of confirms what I thought about it being Grindelwald's sort of magic. in this end battle kind of scene. And then just at the end we see Nicholas Flamel, which I thought was a really, really nice touch, because obviously we hear all about him in Philosopher's Stone. He's the creator of the Philosopher's Stone, and that's what he uses to stay alive for as long as he does. And in here, he's old and frail and white, showing that he is immortal as he suggests. And so this makes me wonder if there's going to be some sort of mention of the Philosopher's Stone here, whether they're going to hint at it, which further sort of connects the Harry Potter world to the Fantastic Beasts world, which I think is a nice little tie-in there. So there you go. The only thing really I want to add at the end of this is Jacob seems to have remembered everything from the first film. He seems to not be as surprised that to be in the situations he finds himself in. So whether he remembers or Queenie gives back his memory or something, yeah, he seems to not be relaxed, but seems to be find it perfectly normal in a weird way. But yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to this movie. It's quite exciting, and yeah, I'm looking forward to more trailers. Hopefully, we'll get a couple more in the next couple of months, because obviously it comes out in November, which isn't actually that far away if you think about it. And yeah, cool. Thanks for watching. Tune in again soon for more trailer breakdowns if this one goes well.